Juliet in Brasheira Square. Yeah. Why does he look like Juliet? Because he's the same artist. Down here with the golden nose. Now why is his face down here? Because if you pay So right now we are standing in Ljubljana's town square, which for many centuries used to be the city's main square. This was also the location of the old market area before Plečnik moved it to its current location. This is Ljubljana's town hall. This is where the politics have been taking place for the past 5 centuries, and they're still taking place to this day. Behind the balcony is the council meeting room, and behind it is the mayor's office where he works as we speak. Now, usually it has the 3 most important flags. Now it doesn't, but it doesn't matter because I have pictures of it. So it has the flag of Ljubljana, the flag of Slovenia, and the flag of the European Union. I'm sure you've all seen the flag of the European Union before, so I won't get into it. But the second 2 ones I will get into. So, this is the flag of Slovenia. It was designed after our independence in 1991 by artist Marko Pogačnik. You can see 3 colors, blue, white and red. These are called the pan-Slavic colors. A lot of countries have them, but for us it is said that they come from the old Carniola coat of arms. Carniola, by the way, was a province in the Austrian Empire, and Ljubljana was the capital city of that province. So that's where all of the names come from, for this, for the Carniola sausage and so forth. This is our coat of arms today. You can see a mountain called Triglav. Triglav means 3 heads because it has 3 peaks. This is the highest mountain in Slovenia of 2,864 meters. It is also our national symbol, and we like to say you become a true Slovene if you climb the mountain at least once in your life. Once you get to the top of the mountain, they will baptize you into a true Slovene. At the top there's a tower, a small tower. You will have to bend over, stick your head into the tower with your butt sticking out, and they will whip your butt with a rope. That's how you become a true Slovene. Here you can see 2 wavy lines. They represent the water of Slovenia. You can see the top line represents the fresh water. We have a lot of fresh water here in Slovenia. And the bottom line represents the salted water. We don't have a lot of it. We have 47 kilometers of coast, of sea, divided between 2.2 million Slovenes. That makes it about 2.1 centimeters per person. But luckily we do have another beach, but for some reason everyone calls it Croatia. Here you can see 3 stars. They represent the Counts of Celje. They were the only noble family with a strong army in Slovenian history. They almost defeated the Austrians, but then they made some mistakes and then died. We don't like to talk about it. This is the flag of Ljubljana. White is for peace and green is for nature. We are a very green country. 64% of our land is covered in forest, and we are also very ecological. In 2016, we were actually named the green capital of Europe, which is quite awesome. Then the coat of arms, castle, that's our castle, self-explanatory. And the dragon, you already know why we have a dragon in it, right? Okay, so in this tour we won't go inside of Town Hall, but the entrance is free, so you can go after the tour on your own, or you can join our free Old Town and Castle tour. The next one will be today at 3 p.m. in front of the Pink Church, so the same meeting point. It is a completely different tour, so won't get bored. You will start there, walk down the street, have a look at Town Square, inside Town Hall as well, and then you will continue walking. You will see some other squares and streets. Salt on top, oils, especially pumpkin seed oil, which is kind of rare to get it elsewhere. So you can get it here. And if you want to buy anything from the shop for all of the liquids, they have travel size bottles as well. Now, of course, we have so many forests. We also have
Vino.
So the red one is blueberry and the brown is fig. So you can try.
Yeah. Can I have a red also? How pretty taste? Ba't mo inubos? Parang gamot?
It smells really sweet.
It tastes like medicine.
Sorry?
Yeah, it tastes like medicine.
How does it?
Yeah. Very sweet.
Sweet but The famous architect, the pillar guy. Okay, we will say his name on account of three. His name is Jože Plečnik. One,
Jože-
two, three.
Jože Plečnik.
Thank you, welcome to Plečnik.
Jože
Ljubljana.
Plečnik.
This bridge, as you can guess, is not the first bridge built on the spot. The first one was a wooden one from the 13th century, so the same as the triple bridge. But this wasn't a gate. It was the oldest bridge that connected the three parts of medieval Ljubljana. It had 8 shoemaking shops on each side, so that's why it's called the Shoemaker's Bridge. But it wasn't only a place of trade. It was also a place of entertainment, let's call it. As you probably know, oh, watch out for the cavalier. Move to this side a little bit.
Move. Okay.
Alright, so punishments or entertainments in medieval ages. As you probably know, people in medieval ages could be quite rough towards each other, and this was the bridge where they would punish cheating bakers. So bakers that would sell low quality bread or light bread, they would punish them here. And it went like this. The bridge had 2 hooks, one on each side. They would tie a cage onto the hook, and when a cheating baker would be caught, they would put the baker inside of the cage and drop the cage into the river. Pull back up, drop again, pull back up, drop again. And they would do that repeatedly. On hot sunny days like this one, it doesn't sound like a very bad punishment. But in the winter, with a bunch of rotten apples being thrown in your direction, not so pleasant, yeah. But without Netflix, that was basically the best show in town. The intention wasn't to kill the baker or to torture the baker. It was a form of public humiliation. It was for humiliating people. It sounds very harsh, but it actually was for a good reason. In medieval ages, we had this fungus that was very cheap, and if you mixed it with the ingredients of the bread, it would make the bread very big and very bubbly. So it was basically empty, it was low quality, but the main problem was that if you ate the bread, it would give you hallucinations. Yeah, so it actually was for a good reason, and this is why they would punish only bakers and not other professions, because they would do this on purpose because the fungus was cheaper. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, when the city was renovating the bridges, they replaced the wooden bridge with an iron bridge. But then when Plečnik came, he moved the iron bridge down the river. It is not the one you see there, it is the one twice as far. And he built this bridge. Why is it so wide? You already know, because he wanted to be a square. For the pillars holding nothing, they actually are holding something. If you look at them, each of them is holding a ball, and the balls were designed as buttons. Plečnik wanted this bridge as well to be a covered bridge. He wanted to stretch a canvas over the bridge and put it over the buttons. It is said that from time to time, on special occasions, the city still does this, so they still stretch the canvas over the bridge, but I live here and I work here every day and I've never seen it, so I don't know if it's true. Now, for the river, this is called the Ljubljanica river. This is the main river in Ljubljana, and Ljubljanica was actually named first. So Ljubljanica means the river that floods a lot, and that's because in medieval ages we had a lot of problems with floods, but then we had this Empress, Maria Theresia, probably some of you know her, from Habsburgs, yeah. She solved a lot of our problems, one of them being the floods, so she dried out the river, she made it wider, and from that point on we didn't have any floods anymore. Now this river is also the continuation of the story of Jason and the Argonauts. Do you remember how I told you that Jason hit land a few kilometers out of town? Yeah, it was because of this river. So this river is also known as the River of the Seven Names, because it goes in and out of the ground 7 different times. It was only in the 19th century that they discovered it wasn't 7 different rivers, but one long river. They put food coloring on one side and they watch it come out from the other side, and that's how they realized. But there's actually a reason for this phenomenon. Ljubljanica springs in karst region called Kras, which is filled with granite and limestone. Granite is not permeable and limestone is very permeable. So depending on which rock the river hits, it either goes in or out of the ground. So if it hits granite, it goes up because it's not permeable, and if it hits limestone, it goes through because it is permeable. So now you know why Jason hit land, because the river went down. Yeah. Now this river is also interesting for another reason. Do you remember how I told you that Behind me there you can see a brick building. It's an interesting building. Some say it's really pretty, some say it's an eyesore. Why do you think they like it?
It's because
Yeah?
of the art.
No?
Artwork. Yeah.
What do you think this is? What do you think is inside of this building?
A library.
Wow, okay, how did you know that?
Previous tour.
It is a library, but there's actually a hint on the facade. If you look at the windows, don't they look like open books?
Yeah.
Yeah, it is a library. It is the university library and also the national library, which means every book ever written in Slovene language has a copy inside. Now, the architect who designed this building, what's his name?
Plešnik.
Okay, good enough. Plešnik, yes. He designed it as a woven carpet with grey threads going through it, and it even has a carpet lining on top. No other buildings has it, so this is very unique. Here he designed it very bright to symbolically lure students in. He wanted students to study at this library and not in other libraries, and he was very successful because to this day this is the most popular student library in Slovenia. Of the Holy Alliance. No, probably not, right? What about the Congress of Vienna? Yeah. So it was a congress after the defeat of Napoleon to establish new world orders, to create new European borders without getting into further war. But that congress wasn't really successful, so they met again 3 years later, but this time here. So that was the Congress of the Holy Alliance. It was a huge event. Among the dignitaries was Russian Tsar Alexander I, French First the Emperor, a bunch of Italian royalty, British royalty, and about 500 other people. Now, how to entertain such VIPs? The answer is military parades. So for the next 2 or 3 months, this square looks something like the opening ceremony of the Olympic Games. Like Germany, Austria, and it looked like this. And the yellow house you see here is that one before it was renovated. Of course, for the parades, you would need a long square like this. Yeah. Now this building, or that one, that's Slovenia's Philharmonic building. It was founded in 1701, and according to them, they are the second oldest musical institution in Europe. Now in tiny Ljubljana, you would think that the oldest musical institutions would be in Graz or Vienna, or any other Holy Trinity. This is the second oldest Baroque church in Slovenia. It kind of looks Gothic with the pointy arcs on top, but that's because it is very old and it still has some elements from the previous period. I would say go inside and have a look, but the doors are locked. That's because 10 years ago we decided to make an underground garage and it damaged the foundations of the church. So now the church is only open on some Sundays and on special occasions, for example the Easter Sundays, but we don't have a good track record with Easter Sundays. Do you remember the 1895 earthquake I was mentioning the whole tour? Yeah, it was Easter Sunday. Maybe don't go inside. And last but not least, this palace, it was built in 1902, originally as the governor's palace. So the governors were basically men in charge of Slovenia in the Austrian Empire. Historically, they would live at the castle, but when Ljubljana was no longer a mighty medieval town, they wanted to come back down to join the fun. So it was then that they built this palace for them, but the governors didn't stay here for much longer because in 1919 the Austrians were gone. So the Slovenes quickly changed this into the University of Ljubljana. This is one of the 3 universities in Slovenia. This is the oldest one and the biggest one as well. Now the oldest one, 1919, that doesn't sound very old, right? The first universities were being established in 12th and the 13th century in Europe. So this is very late. But of course, the Austrian Empire wouldn't want us to have a place where a lot of educated people would meet and discuss about crazy ideas, for example, the independence. So of course it was the oldest one and also the biggest one, of over 60,000 students. Ljubljana has 200,000 people, so 60,000 students, that's a lot of students. Why so many? Because our studies are free. If you came from Germany, Austria, Finland, or any rich European country, you would be used to it, but we are not that rich, so for us it comes from the communist Yugoslavia. So if anything good came out of communism, it would be the social care. Now, of course, not all of the 60,000 students are stuck inside. This is not a campus, this is just an administrational building, and we have 27 faculties all around Ljubljana. I'm sure you know at least one famous person that studied at the university, one of them being me, one of them being Melania Trump. She was born and raised here, she studied in this university. She didn't finish, but she did start, so it counts technically. And then Slavoj Žižek, he's one of the most known philosophers right